Today, what I wanted to do was to test the final damage difference between a one-handed and a two-handed sword. So basically, what I've done today is I've removed every single piece of equipment that I have. I'm only equipping one two-handed sword right here, Uka two-handed sword. It's got no spell tracing, no star forcing, nothing. No potential, no flame on the weapon attack. So this is the Uka two-handed sword that I'm using. And this is the Uka one-handed sword that I'm using. So again, same thing. There's a minor difference in flame. Has like slightly better flame. It's like 4 strength and like 16 dex is a minor difference. So I don't think it will actually matter. So the purpose of this test is to basically determine whether or not the final damage difference from using a Uka two-handed sword is better than using a one-handed sword with 0 attack speed as compared to 1 attack speed with a two-handed. So this might not be pertinent information for now because we still have a 10B damage cap, obviously. So the faster you attack, the better, especially if you're capping on every single line, which tends to be quite easy to do on hero. But in the purpose of finding out whether or not during Neo, when they uncap the damage cap, whether it's better or not to use a two-handed or one-handed in terms of actual final damage. This is not we're not talking about like stylistic difference where you are 1 attack speed and you might have a slightly harder time dodging boss attacks or your bow reroll animation slightly longer and all that jazz. I think it matters, but also very minimally because it's from 1 to 2, from 1 to 0 attack speed is about 7% attack speed increase, roughly. From my own testing, in 30 seconds, you do about 56 raging blows with two-handed and 60 raging blows with a one-handed, so it's about 7% if you do the math. I'm not here to discuss my opinions on whether or not it's actually better for, survivability or whatever when it comes down to using two-handed versus one-handed. We're just here to discuss the damage aspect and purely damage aspect. It might take a while. This is going to be a slightly longer video because, Combo Instinct has a long cooldown, so we're going to have to wait a bit for cooldowns. But yeah, we have a target dummy here. It's 0 defense target dummy. If you want to look at my stats, these are my totally clean stats with, well, absolutely nothing. And everything else remains the same. I'm not changing my union, I'm not changing anything. We're just using one green pot because obviously in Maple Sea you can break the attack speed cap. You'll be at 1 attack speed with a two-handed and 0 attack speed with a one-handed. Did I say that right? Two-handed, 1 attack speed, one-handed, 0 attack speed? Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever, you get it. So we're only using a green pot and yeah, we're gonna test it out. So I don't know the best way to test this out because obviously consistent damage matters as well as burst. So yeah, as in I can't just count the burst and say, oh look, this is the final damage difference when you're in burst, and then you completely discount the fact that you're attacking slower when you're outside of burst. So from the recommendations of one of my friend, I guess from what he said, the best way to do it is probably to do 1 full burst rotation and then just normally attack until my next burst cycle. I'll be using as many skills as possible when they come off cooldown. In terms of how I would use them during a non-burst cycle as well as a burst cycle. So obviously things like Weapon Aura will be casted on cooldown because Weapon Aura has a very high uptime and it will always be up during burst anyways. But things like Cry Valhalla, which usually I save for in burst anyways, I will not be casting. I'll only cast it once during the start of burst, and then because of the weird cooldown, you have to wait. You have downtime on Cry Valhalla about 90 seconds before it actually comes up together with Combo Instinct, so it will only be casted once. Same thing goes for Stepa Score because the cooldown matches exactly with Combo Instinct. And obviously, Combo Instinct itself will only be used once. So everything else remains constant. I'm going to pop another green pot here because it's running out, but yeah, you get my drift. So we're going to run a BA for this on the two-handed sword, obviously not changing anything. So let's buff up. This is going to be pretty boring. I'm just going to be sitting here hitting a dummy for a while. But in the interest of science, we'll do this. All right. Obviously, I have to recast Panic as well as Incising or Puncture, whichever region you're from, as soon as it comes off. So the way I usually gauge it during bosses is whenever Sword Illusion comes off cooldown, which is like about now, you have to recast Puncture. And at the same time, as well recast Panic, right? Because, I mean, Panic lasts longer, but might as well. So from my experience, that's the best way to gauge when puncture is coming off cooldown, or when the debuff is gonna run out on the boss, is when Soul Illusion is off cooldown. So yeah. So we're just gonna be basic hitting and casting skills off cooldown until Combo Instinct comes off cooldown. So Soul Illusion's off cooldown again, we recast Puncture, we recast Panic, we do the combo. It's a pretty standard combo for heroes nowadays when we want to deal off-burst damage, is Soul Illusion into World Reaver into a Rage Uprising. Although if you're already capping on every single line, Rage Uprising is unnecessary. It's just Soul Illusion plus World Reaver and then you go back to Raging Blow. But in Neo, when they uncap the damage cap, it's gonna be more useful to use Rage Uprising because the damage percent is higher, so basically it just does more damage. Okay, so this is the second use of AB Link. I'm gonna recast Panic, Puncture, AB Link, and Soul Illusion, World Reaver, Rage Uprising. And we're just gonna keep hitting, I guess. Still got another like minute or so. Anyways, so we're gonna recast Soul Burning Soul here. Gonna recast Epic Adventure when it comes off cooldown, like so. Waiting for Soul Illusion to come off cooldown. Debuff, Soul Illusion, World Reaver, Rage Uprising. Now you notice that Cry Valhalla is coming off cooldown, but I'm not going to use it because I want to use it. Technically, I want to use it together with Combo Instinct. This is less of an issue for heroes that are already capped on every single line in burst, so you don't need Cry Valhalla during burst. Okay, I stopped attacking there because I was standing too still, but yeah, you get it. You don't need Cry Valhalla. You technically don't need to use Cry Valhalla inside of Combo Instinct if you're already capping on every single line. But for me, I don't cap every single line, except maybe Elucid under effects of Domain. So it's a small consideration. I'm gonna recast Aura Weapon here because it will always be up. I usually save Maple Goddess Warrior Blessing for inside of Instinct as well because, you know, easier capping, yada yada. And I'm not gonna use the third AB Link here because, again, AB Link cooldown is a little bit wonky. It doesn't really sync up very well with Combo Instinct, so you kind of have to leave it on downtime, or you have to give it some downtime, or you wait for Combo Instinct to come back up. So yeah, Combo Instinct's in 30 seconds. Basically, we just gotta hit this dummy for another 30 seconds, and we'll stop whenever it comes off cooldown. Okay, so Illusion's up. One last combo. Technically, you would save that combo to use together with Combo Instinct so that you could enter Combo Instinct together with that combo, but whatever. Okay, we'll stop here. So that was 3 minutes and 52 seconds. We'll take a look at the BA. Let me screenshot this and write it down so that I don't forget this. Give me a second. It's easier for me if I screenshot this. And I can show you guys the screenshot side by side later. 1 second. I don't know. I don't know if I should screenshot the whole thing. I don't know if it's if you guys actually want to see the whole BA, like together with the skill statistics and all that. I guess I'll do it because, you know, why not? I'm doing this test anyways, might as well. So this I'll save as two-handed 1, two-handed BA1. And then we go to the next page. Oh wait, no, this is already the next page. So this is two-handed BA2. Just in case you guys want to see what the skill percentages are. And this is, I mean, it's only Panic on this page, but I guess we take it down. So two-hand BA3. Alright, cool. So that's the two-handed BA. So in total it's 558 bill. Yeah, 558 bill. So yeah, that's the first BA that we'll do, and then now we're gonna switch over to the one-handed, and then we'll compare. me build up the combos real quick. Alright, so this will be BA number 2. Everything else is exactly the same. The only thing I've changed is the one-handed to the two-handed to the one-handed. We have a attack speed increase, obviously, because green pot breaking attack speed cap. We're at 0 now. No major difference in stats, obviously. So we lost like 4 or 5 strength, 4 strength. Yeah. Wait, no, actually it's more than that. Yeah, no, it's actually 4 strength. So yeah, we lost like 4 strength. There's absolutely no other difference besides the weapon attack multiplier that comes together with equipping a one-handed compared to a two-handed. So I've talked enough about this. Let's just actually get into the BA. Alright, so same shit. Casting everything. Wait, what the hell? Why are my combos off? Okay, this is scuffed already. Oh no, this is scuffed. Shit. Huh. Oh, this is awkward. I don't know why my combos turned off. Did I? Did I press something to turn off my combos? Am I retarded? Oh no, I'm sorry guys. You're gonna have to wait like another 4 minutes for all this shit to come off cooldown. Oh my fucking god. Oh, this video is gonna be 4 minutes longer than I intended. I guess I'll talk about why I'm doing this test in the meantime in this downtime. Okay, so basically there's always been an argument between one-handed versus two-handed swords for hero, because, or not swords, but axe or sword, either one. Obviously you can use axe or sword. The argument being that with a 0 attack speed cap, you'll be able to hit faster, 7% faster like I mentioned before, at 1 attack speed compared to 2 attack speed, 1 attack speed compared to 0 attack speed. So, it's always been tried and tested or tried and true that you always stick to one-handed in the current meta, at a 10 bill damage cap meta, in a 10 bill damage cap meta, because when you're capping every single line, the faster you hit, the more damage you do. That's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to elaborate on why that's the case. But with the advent of Neo, they're obviously uncapping the damage cap. So from my knowledge, one-handed versus two-handed is a 1.3 versus a 1.44 attack multiplier. So it is basically 14% final damage, pretty much. It's a 14% final damage difference when you compare using a two-handed versus a one-handed. Now, people right now, this is offset by the fact that obviously you attack faster with one-handeds, and you can equip a shield compared to just a secondary. So one of the reasons why I didn't equip anything this round is because during this test is because I don't want to I don't want I don't have a perfect pot or a similar pot to Princess No hero secondary. So it's very hard to gauge based on Terminus Defender versus a clean Princess No secondary. Obviously, I don't have a clean Terminus Defender either, by the way, so don't ask about that. So yeah, I obviously don't have the funds to go and cube a Princess No secondary for two-handed just so that I can carry out this test. So we decided to do away with every other external factor that might affect this test and just go with clean. Just the one-handed versus the two-handed, so that we can only see the difference between the weapon attack multipliers. So the 14% final damage difference, as we discussed, between one-handed and two-handeds, is offset by the fact that shields can be Starforced and scrolled in Reg server. In Reboot, I'm not too sure. You have to figure that one out yourself. But for me, let's talk about specifically for me. The difference between the weapon attack and the strength, purely just the stats itself of the shield, accounts for about 6.8% final damage for my stats. I run this through the calculator. The extra attack and the extra strength and the extra dex, everything accounts for about... Oh god, my dummy ran out. Okay, wait, let me go and buy another dummy with my meal. But yeah, the difference in stat basically accounts for about 6.8% final damage. So, in terms of damage, mathematically, obviously, this is just in theory, I'm losing about 7% final damage compared to a... using a one-handed compared to a two-handed. So, the question is whether or not 7% attack speed is enough to, overcome that final damage difference. Especially, obviously, like I said, before Neo comes out, when we are only at this current damage cap, at 10 bill damage cap, it's quite feasible to hit the damage cap quite easily. So, especially on hero. So, obviously, one-handed reigns supreme in this meta, but when Neo uncaps, obviously, then that's a whole different bag of fish. So that's why we're doing this test with such minimal equips, is so that we don't cap on the lines, so that we can assume that for like you can extrapolate based on the data what the final damage difference will be when Neo hits, because Neo will be uncapped damage, yada yada. It's very okay. Let me say this from the outset. It's very difficult to cap damage in Neo. I think it's virtually impossible. Even like the top KMS heroes that are, well, I've watched like an 82k stat hero. The max I've seen him hit with Raging Blow was like 40 bill lines, and that's 4 times or close to 4 times lower than the actual damage cap. So if you're talking about like super future proofing yourself, I guess one-hander in the future, if you're able to hit 150 bill damage cap in the future, it's possible. It's possible to hit damage cap and for one-hander to be superior again over two-handed. But in my opinion, it's going to be a very, 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 very long time before that happens. So anyways, I've rambled on enough. I've actually reset my cooldowns already. We'll just run this BA, alright? Hopefully, hopefully I don't screw this up this time. I'm sorry. Alright, let's buff up. So same shit. Everything buffed, combo instinct up. Obviously we're just going to be hitting as per usual. Same rules apply. Whenever Soul Illusion comes off cooldown, we're going to be using Puncture plus Panic to reapply the debuffs. I mean, like I said, Panic actually lasts longer, but it's easier to just apply both at the same time. It's less things to worry about, right? So that I don't have to worry about one or the other running out. So Puncture, Panic, Soul Illusion, Woe Reaver, Rage Uprising. Simple. And now we just hit the dummy until time runs out, I guess. Or until Combo Instinct comes back up. Okay, I stopped again. I mean, it's fine, right? We stopped in the two-handed test as well, because I didn't move. So technically it's fair. It's fair, small. We'll deal with it. So Puncture, Panic, Soul Illusion, Woe Reaper, Rage Uprising. Simple. So the score to beat is, how much was it again? 558 was it? I need to go and look at the screenshot again. I have horrible short-term memory. Something like that. 550 something bill damage. So again, we're gonna use something conditions. Woe Reaper. Oh shit! I didn't reapply Panic. I didn't reapply Puncture first. Okay, whatever, man. It's minor differences. Minor differences. Sorry. It's hard to be exactly accurate with this test, even though I'm just hitting. Oh god, I just stopped again. Okay, so we're gonna use Soul Burning Soul here. Big Adventure since it's up. It's a little bit difficult to be completely accurate, but I'm trying my best. Forgive me. So again, we're not gonna use Cry Valhalla off cooldown. I explained this before. We are going to use Aura Weapon though. And we're not going to use Maple Goddess Warrior Blessing. If I'm not wrong, we should end around 3 minutes 54 seconds. Same timing, right? Should be. We're not going to use the second AB link as well, so Puncture, Panic. Big damage, big damage. Rapper. Aura. I stopped 3 times now. Oh, dear lord. I swear I'm not rigging this in favor of the two-handed. I swear I'm not rigging. I'm sorry. Okay, Puncture, Panic. Okay, so 30 seconds left. We can fit in 2 more, I think. I know 1 more. 1 more Soul Illusion combo. Let's watch it again. Oh, that wasn't as clean as I hoped it would be. Anyways, that's the BA. Oh, it's 1 second short. So we are at 525 bill damage. Give me a second. Let me take a screenshot. And BA1. One hand BA3. Alright. So if at any point you guys wanted to take a look at the stats, you guys could have just paused the video, but yeah, same shit. So let's compare then. Let me look at where's my two-hand BA. Give me 1 second. Hand BA1. Where the hell is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, so for two-handeds, we basically hit 558 bill. For one-handeds, we hit 525 bill. So let's do some calculator math right now. Alright, give me a second. Calculator. So for two-handeds, we hit 55863 249,187. So this is the amount of damage that I hit for two-handed, and then we'll take that minus one-handed. 0.61322. Alright, so there's a difference of about 33 bill damage. Wait, so we'll take this and divide it by the total BA, or rather the total BA of the one-handed, so we get a percentage increase. We'll see how much percentage increase this is. Yeah. Wait, what? Did I do that right? Okay, so it's a 6% final damage increase. Yeah. So it's in total, it's a 6.2 whatever final damage increase from one-handed to two-handed. At 1 attack speed versus 0 attack speed. Alright. So assuming that, let's say in reboot / in reg server, where you don't have access to a well-scrolled Terminus Defender, or you don't have access to a 22-star shield. I think reboot nowadays gets 22-star shields, I'm not sure. You will have to check it based on your own stats on how much final damage the stats of a one-handed / two-handed shield will give you, but depends on whether or not it outs the final damage difference that we will gain from using a two-handed versus a one-handed. Now this is also under the assumption that they are both at 1 and 0 attack speed respectively. If you were to consider the fact that you will be bursting in stone, or if you have, like, let's say a decent speed infusion, or zero aura, or blaze wizard, or Evan, I don't know, arc. Wait, does arc have attack speed increase? Oh, I don't even know myself. I should really check this. Anyways, under the assumption that you have those buffs, two-handed will probably quite clearly be the winner, because you will overcome the attack speed difference. You will both be at 0 attack speed, and you would have the advantage of having extra 6% final damage as well. So the final damage difference will only grow bigger together under the assumption that you are bursting within stone, or if you have other sources of final damage, or not final damage, other sources of attack speed. So yeah, I mean, this is all under the assumption that we have exactly the same pot for both secondaries. Like, let's say you were to equip all your gear. You have exactly the same pot for everything. It's just that the secondary changes and the main hand changes based on, you know, what we're currently based on one-handed / two-handed, right? So yeah, that's the final damage difference. It's a bit smaller than I expected it to be. The math seems to indicate that it will be a 14% final damage difference, but in actuality, it's only about 6.3, 6.2, whatever you want to count it as, 6.3% final damage increase. So, is it worth it to give up 1 attack speed for a 6.3% final damage increase? That question remains to be answered. It depends on you, I guess. To be honest, I feel like the difference between 1 and 0 attack speed is very minimal. Some people call it clunky. I'm not sure. I feel like it's minimal, but you know, I think it just it just takes getting used to. In my opinion, Hero already has an easy enough time surviving in bosses. We have a lot of very useful tools. While Reaver is obviously broken as fuck because it's 18-second cooldown iframe. Reduce even further if you have cooldown hat, etc. etc. So yeah, in my opinion, if you're on a reg server, not reboot specifically, but on a reg server, discounting the fact that Terminus defenders are bloody expensive, I would say as an unfunded player, it is probably much better to go for two-handed compared to one-handed, because a two-handed will give you just as much damage if you don't have a well-scrolled / well-starred shield. Obviously, this final damage difference doesn't apply because if you have a well-scrolled / well-starred shield, it will more than make up for this final damage difference, in which case that it'll be pretty much on par. Yeah, it will be on par if you had two swords / shields / two-handed swords that were exactly the same with the same secondary. Yeah, I feel like I'm not explaining myself properly, but basically what these numbers mean is that the two-handed hits 6% harder than the one-handed, 6% final damage harder. So if I were to equip my shield, my Terminus Defender right now, which gives me about 6.8% final damage, I would hit just as hard as a two-handed at 0 attack speed. But you have to keep in mind that the two-handed is at 1 attack speed. So if you have like an external source of attack speed, the two-handed will obviously win out. Assuming that the pots for the secondaries and the main hands are the same, exactly the same. The two-handed will obviously win out. So in my opinion, for unfunded players on reg server, it's almost definitely better to go for two-handed plus secondary, plus Princess No secondary. There are other factors to consider, of course, is the fact that maybe it's a little bit harder to sell two-handed secondaries, so your investment into a two-handed secondary is probably not going to yield as much of a return as a Terminus Defender or as a Deimos, or Deimos you can't trade, but as a Terminus Defender, because Terminus Defenders obviously have resale value, and Hero two-handed secondary probably has less because there are less people pursuing this particular build with two-hand on Hero. So yeah, but if we're talking about Reboot, where you have like a world where you're basically closed off from everyone and you can't do any trading, there's no such thing as resale value, there's basically nothing to consider for in that aspect. Then it purely depends on the pot of your shield, and it depends on whether or not you can get a Terminus Defender to 22 star. Because without scrolling in Reboot, a Terminus Defender would have something like, I can check my own shield, I guess, give me a second. My own shield has been scrolled 9 times for 5 weapon attack, is it? I think it's 5 weapon attack per scroll. Is it 5 or 4? 137 minus 92 is 45. So yeah, it's 5. It's 5 weapon attack per scroll. So you have 92 weapon attack and about 131 dex. Is it 131 dex? I think it's 131 dex. 131 strength, sorry, from the shield. So it depends on whether or not the final damage increase from having that 97% attack, not 97%, but 97 flat attack or 92 flat attack and 131 strength is enough to overcome the final damage difference from wielding a two-handed versus a one-handed. And I think it won't, because even for me at this high of a Star Force and at this current stat together with the scrolling, it's only about 6.8% final damage difference. So in Reboot, it might be correct to say that two-handeds are almost strictly better. Mostly because your shield cannot overcome the final damage difference presented by a two-handed multiplier on your main hand. I think if I were to look at my own stats, wait, let me pull up the calculator. This is a little bit all over the place, I apologize, but I mean, I didn't exactly prepare a script or anything for this. I'm just rambling. Give me a sec. Look at my stat comparisons. 7 versus... I think a Princess No secondary has 9 attack, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's 9 attack. And 3 strength. So this is what it looks like for me when I put it into DelusionDash. Oh, it's less than I thought, actually. It's 6.3. I remembered wrongly. But yeah, basically, my Terminus Metal gives me 6.3% final damage. So if I were to rescale this down for reboot, where you won't have scrolling, basically it'll be 131, and this will be 92, was it? Yeah, 92. 92. So the final damage difference will dip even more, so it will be a 4.3% final damage difference instead of the 6.2. So mathematically, theoretically, it would not overcome the final damage difference from equipping a two-handed versus one-handed. So at that point, it's basically whether or not you're willing to sacrifice the 0 attack speed versus 1 attack speed meta. When it comes to soloing bosses, you will almost always constantly be at 1 attack speed. There's no way to consistently get to 0 attack speed with a two-handed. So it's a style choice at that point. It depends on whether or not you would rather hit slightly harder, or 2% final damage difference harder, or if you would rather have the fluidity of being at 0 attack speed. So yeah, I mean, it's a difficult choice. It's a difficult choice for me to make myself, and I have never exactly really tried to boss at 1 attack speed myself. I might give it a shot a couple of times, maybe do like a H2 sale or something, or maybe Sea Dusk or whatever at 1 attack speed and see how I feel about it. But I feel like you can probably overcome that attack speed change, especially given that it's only 7%. It really doesn't sound like that much. I mean, this is because Hero, when it comes down to it, Hero Raging Blow, which is our main attacking skill, the action delay is very small when you change from 0 to 1 attack speed. I think it goes from 540 ms to 510. So for other classes it might be bigger, but for Hero it's actually quite negligible. The animations on other skills, on the other hand, I have no idea. For World Reaver and for Soul Illusion, I have no idea. But yeah, anyways, so that's basically my TED Talk. That's what I came here to discuss, is the difference between one-handed versus two-handed for Hero. And yeah, I mean, I guess you guys can kind of tell where this is leading. Is basically that two-handed is actually a very, very viable choice for heroes. You don't have to confine yourself to a one-handed meta. Of course, when it comes down to it, when you have to do like things like Genesis mission, when you're trying to liberate your weapon, it becomes a much tougher choice, because you have a choice between two-handed and one-handed. You have to decide which one you want to liberate. You can only do it once, unless you want to throw away your Genesis weapon and restart the whole quest again for 8 months. That's another consideration, I guess. But yeah, that's about it from me. Let me know if you guys have any other questions in the comments, I guess, and whether or not you feel like the test was fair. I feel like it was fair. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's a multiplier when you start using shields, or maybe there's a multiplier when you start using hero secondary, like the medal. I actually don't know. I will be completely honest. I am not that well versed in Maple mechanics, and I can't really test it out properly myself, because I kind of lack the correct equipment. I don't have a perfect pot Princess No medal, so it's unfortunate I couldn't do this test with like the proper secondary swapping. But this is as close as it gets already. Given that I've removed almost every single other external factor except maybe human error, where I messed up like once or twice during the actual BA. But yeah, this video is like half an hour long already. Jesus fucking Christ. I've been talking for half an hour about this shit. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope this was kind of informative. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.